Hello everybody, this is the Masked Man, coming to you live. I am parked here for the day in Tucumari, New Mexico, about 20 miles west of the Texas-New Mexico border. And I want to talk today, yes, the 36-year-old white man has something to say. Doudrop decides to fire back at Dave Meltzer, which is well deserved. However, it is the way in which she has fired back at Dave Meltzer that has me in a big hubbub. She types back something to the effect of oh man, can't breathe no more. Yeah, I'm the half-masked man. So, basically, she decides to tell Dave Meltzer something to the effect of, "Hey, middle-aged white man, the show is not made for you." Well, let me tell you, who is it made for, Doudrop? Young white children? Young black children? Young Latino, Asian, and take your pick. What race, gender, and age is pro wrestling made for? When you make statements like that, it really makes you come off as ignorant. It really does, in my opinion. Being a 36-year-old white man who has watched wrestling on a weekly basis since I was the age of about 6. So for 30 years, I've been watching it off and on. I gotta tell you, nothing comes off more ignorant than when you take the Brie Larson route. To refresh everybody's memory, when A Wrinkle in Time was panned by fans, by critics, Brie Larson decides to stand up at some award show, press conference, whatever, and basically say something to the effect that it was not, "Hey, white man," it wasn't, so, "Hey, middle-aged white man," it wasn't made for you. Movies are made for everybody. I love Black Panther, and I'm a white guy. Ooh, imagine that. A white guy loving something that is not of his culture. Ooh. I love the movie. In fact, here, my favorite movie of all time is Grease. Grease is not made for me, but I love it. It's my favorite movie of all time. I love, I love a lot of things that were not made for me, even though it's made for everybody. And yes, Dave Meltzer is a middle-aged white dude who basically bashes WWE and then takes everything AEW does, like the Owen Hart situation, which I will get into later on, and puts that up on a pedestal. But Dave Meltzer's age and Dave Meltzer's race have nothing to do with it, in my opinion. If you really wanted to make a change in the wrestling business as a truck drives by, how about taking aside the senior citizen-aged white men who are in charge of the fucking program, namely Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, and tell them this isn't working. But no, you don't do that. Why? Because you have no problem accepting a paycheck from the senior citizen aged white man who's fucking it up. Think about it. You work for a middle-aged white man who puts you in those predicaments, but you gladly cash his paychecks and you gladly spend that money and you gladly don't put up a fight about it, do you? No, you don't. No, you don't. If Meltzer was a 22-year-old black man, and yes, there are some of them on YouTube who criticize wrestling in the exact same way that Dave Meltzer does when it comes to WWE, who probably thought that segment was fucking boring, who have probably thought changing your name to Doudrop, putting you in a program with Eva Marie, and now just fucking exploiting your weight and everything like that. There's probably a bunch of black men out there who feel the same way about it. I'm so sick and tired of this SJW virtue signaling, all white men are evil bullshit. It's fucking racist to think that way. Not all white guys are fucking pigs. There's damn few of us good ones left. The Owen Hart thing. AEW made a deal with the Owen Hart Foundation to put Owen Hart in their video game and to do a Owen Hart Cup Memorial Tournament. Do I think Martha Hart is doing this as a big fuck you to WWE? No. Do I think she's doing it as a cash grab? No. Do I think they should have done it for Brody Lee instead, doing the Brody Lee Memorial Cup? Yeah. Do I think Tony Khan is going to be making money off of a dead man's name who never worked for him a day in his life, who he probably never met a day in his life? Yeah. Do I think that's wrong? A little bit. It is what it is, though. I'm just happy to see Martha Hart, you know, encouraging the foundation, encouraging the name usage, and back in pro wrestling. He's never going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame as long as Vince McMahon's alive, at least. So, it is what it is. Oh, and that's another thing, Doudrop. You better be glad you were called up when you were from NXT UK. Because the one middle-aged white man who is kind of getting everything right up until the Wednesday Night Wars was Triple H, and they got rid of him. The senior citizen white guy got rid of him. So, do age and gender and color really matter in this situation? No, because there's a lot of things that the 30-something-year-old half Pakistani motherfucker in AEW gets wrong too. It doesn't matter. So before you go off making ignorant statements, think about it. Just think about what you're saying. Meltzer's age doesn't matter. Meltzer's color doesn't matter. His gender does not matter. And age and color, my 12-year-old white son thinks Raw and SmackDown and wrestling in general now is a fucking joke because of the way it's been booked. He doesn't like the blood on AEW. He used to like NXT before that fucked up. He watches a couple of things on Raw, like the first segment and the last segment of Raw, and everything in the middle. He's playing video games because he thinks it's boring. And he forgets that SmackDown is on half the time. So what does that tell you? The audience that you're supposedly making this for doesn't want to see it either. And the ratings tumbling have proved it. Anyway, folks, if you see a trucker out there on the road, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of their color, because yes, there's a lot of damn fine women truck drivers out there too, that are probably 10 times better of a driver than I am. I ain't too proud to admit that. But if you see a truck out there on the road, do not tailgate us. Give us lots of room. Let us over if we signal to get over. Pass us with care. Give us plenty of cushioning. Remember, if you can't see our mirrors, we cannot see you. And we'll see you down the road.